Reporter and editor Emily Raguso spends many days at the Oakland, California courthouse covering the crime beat. But not for the local newspaper. She's with the news site The Berkeley Scanner that she founded 2 years ago, focusing on public safety.
There's a lot of interest inherently in public safety issues, especially when you cover them with a lot of context and nuance like I try to do. And so my vision from the beginning was to have a completely member-funded site.
The content is free to read, and those memberships bring in enough to cover the veteran journalist's expenses and salary. Membership comes with perks like breaking news alerts and members-only content.
Some of them are monthly, some of them pay once a year, but there's been just a huge amount of interest in supporting the kind of coverage I've been doing.
Across the Bay, journalists at the San Francisco Standard, another local news outlet founded in the past few years, are also working hard to scoop the competition, especially when it comes to the city's politics.
We had a strong hunch that if we went really hard on local political coverage, we would make a name for ourselves and build trust with an audience very quickly, and that's exactly what happened.
In fact, the San Francisco area has become something of a hotbed for local news startups. The city now has 27 news organizations, many founded in recent years, a success story in an industry that has faced major challenges.
The internet has decimated news outlets, especially those highly dependent on advertising. Since 2005, the U.S. has lost about a third of its newspapers and 2/3 of its newspaper journalists.
That's left a big hole in local news coverage. Many believe this has led to a lack of accountability for poor performance and misdeeds by officials and others in power.
Well, data supports this. There's all sorts of studies that show the absence of local news. Cities that don't have a strong local news ecosystem have worse outcomes for the residents in those cities. It's bad because there's no one providing that oversight.
News organizations in the region have been experimenting with different approaches to fill the gap. The Standard came into being as the result of a major investment from a tech billionaire and plans to introduce a subscription model later this year. Several nonprofit news sites have also found success here. Whatever the business model, experts say building a loyal audience is essential.
It's not going to be enough just to have that kind of influx of wealthy support at the beginning, because ultimately every news organization in this country succeeds or fails based on how it builds a connection with its audience.
A free and active press is considered essential to a functioning democracy. The dramatic loss of news outlets in the U.S. has led to a lack of information, especially about local issues. Journalists and publishers hoping to change that may be able to look to this part of California for inspiration. Ira Spitzer, CNA, San Francisco.